So why are autocracies so scary? This conversation is growing day and day. People keep talking about autocracies, the way that the world is going, and what makes autocracies so scary. And at the end of the day, autocracies, totalitarianism, dictatorships, they're all a variation of each other, right? And people use those words interchangeably. Um, so when it comes to autocracies, and we look at China as an example, I think about controlled speech. In China, we know that you can't, as a journalist, you can't just sit and say whatever you want about the government. You will get taken away. So many examples. I made a whole documentary about this. Go check it out. It's called A New Era, during COVID, but I broke down sort of like that system of autocratic governance. Then just controlling the way that you live, the way you're allowed to do things. I think about China's social crediting system. I know a lot of people, you guys have watched Black Mirror, the episode, I can't remember what it's called, and I did a review on it, but Black Mirror episode, and I'll put it down here, where, there was a social crediting system. So by virtue of, you walking around and whether the way that you interact with people can rate you. And that rating that you have is going to determine what you have access to in the world. So like, let's say you have a poor rating, you have a poor social credit. You might not have access to buses or trains or to purchase certain things. Now that is scary. That is like, and the more that we become technologically savvy in the world, the more that we have technological advancements like things like Neuralace, which is Elon Musk's brain chip that's going to put a chip in your brain. Well, that's what a brain chip is. It puts a chip in your brain and you could think something and then you get the answer immediately. But think about how much that chip is going to monitor your mind and the way that your mind thinks, the way that your neurons are moving. It's going to be measuring you and determining how you think and potentially controlling you in that way, or allowing the government or whoever is monitoring it to understand the way that you think. And what if now this idea, the way that technology is going and the idea that China is building out this social crediting system, it allows for a very scary, controlled government. Like you can really and truly control people's minds, block people from thinking certain things, punish people for thinking certain things. We're talking about, I don't know how many years in the future, maybe 100 years in the future, maybe sooner, who knows. But this idea that starting off with the social crediting system, like China has cameras, CCTV cameras all over the country, and it has facial recognition. So it's monitoring you at all moments. That part is scary because having that in a country that is democratic, that allows for freedom, is fine. But in a country like China, where there's controlled speech, there's controlled behavior. So if you do something that is socially unacceptable, well, you lose a point in your social crediting system. And that means maybe you go to a grocery store, you're not allowed to buy food now. You see how scary that is, that people could control you that way? That's really scary. And especially then you couple that with the advancements in technologies that we're getting, and you're taking us into a full-blown George Orwell 1984 situation, Handmaid's Tale situation, where you're controlling people's every movements and behaviors. And even we talk about the genocide in China with the Chinese Muslims, what they're literally like comparing it to the Holocaust. We talk about that, and that's happening today in China. Now, if you act up, you know how Chinese people, like especially public figures in China, just disappear and we don't hear. The fact that they took Jack Ma, the most I don't know if he was the wealthiest man in China, but he was very powerful, and he went missing because he spoke against the government. That's scary, right? So that's the disadvantage of autocracies, the fact that you lack the freedom. And as humans, we were built to be free. We weren't built to be controlled. Our minds are free. And imagine to the extent that you control people's minds and what they're allowed to think. Now, this might not seem like a big deal to somebody who hasn't had access to freedom before. But as someone that was born into freedom, that to me is the scariest thing that you could take away. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about that. What do you think about autocracies? In another video, I broke down how Donald Trump is potentially trying to make America an autocratic country. Very scary stuff. Definitely go check that out. Link down below. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. My name is Kenim, and see you next time. Peace.